Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. I'm glad you guys are with us again for another update on the virus situation. I mean, it's like, what do you say? I mean, this is what hit me. Just looking at so many videos, so many photos. Um, what hits me is this what it looks like when a civilization collapses? It's crazy out there, guys. I mean, it's just crazy what we're seeing coming out of China, and not just China as well.
It is. It's absolutely crazy. And I'm still sitting on the fence with this one, but proceeding with caution.
As far as what's really going on
What
here.
I'm seeing. Right. With what my two eyes are seeing, I'm just really proceeding with caution because if China has such a grip on their media, they're only showing us what they want us to see. Therefore,
No, but again, there's so many people with the internet and everything.
it's true.
Things get
It's
leaked
true.
out that they don't have an ironclad clamping down. So, we don't agree on everything. Believe it or not, guys, we don't. And so this has been an interesting one.
Yeah.
Um, because I think Cindy's, of the thought that she's suspicious about what's being orchestrated and what's real. Kind of like the moon landing, right?
Thank you. You took the words right out of my mouth. I appreciate that. So yeah.
But I think there's a lot of real stuff. But I did see something today that when we looked at another clip, obviously people added stuff to it, and it's pretty sad and pretty sick when people do things like that. Take a clip that's legit and then add stuff to it to give it a different feel. I just don't know why people do that when this is obviously such a serious situation. It's so serious, and I mean, this is horribly sad. I don't doubt that the Chinese people are suffering greatly in this. I think that's pretty obvious. And, we're talking about that now, but it is spreading. And, thank you guys for your support. I see everybody is joining us. We got Fred, we got Nuclear Quantum, White Porcelain, Nicole, Amy, Bethany. It's so sad what we see going on right now. And again, what's going on in China might be here in 2-3 weeks. We don't know. And we'll know a lot, I think, in another 2-3 weeks, a month. We'll know a lot, because if China is hit abnormally hard and we don't see this spread through, say, Europe, the United States, and Africa, like it does through the East, I think that's going to raise some eyebrows as well.
Well, it's gonna, yeah. Right now, it's kind of like a waiting game. That's why I'm gonna proceed with caution with all of it, because we can't afford to be wrong. I mean, I can't. Not my home.
Yeah, so you wonder what's going on around the globe. And earlier today, because I've told you guys, we are in a tiny, tiny little town. And honestly, I wish we weren't in a town at all. I wish we were, there was nobody around us for miles. That would be perfect. I just, that's the way I like it. I do like being kind of isolated. It just feels good to be just surrounded by nothing but Mother Nature as much as possible. And interestingly enough, there was a couple of trucks going down and what looked to be people spraying. And so, of course, we were in the middle of a workout this morning, and I immediately got dressed and went and asked them, "What's up? What are you spraying?" But they were just filling cracks in the sidewalk and in the road with tar. But immediately I'm thinking, all right, what's going on here? What are you spraying? Suspicious of everything. And the skies were so heavily laden again today. I mean, in the morning was gorgeous, blue skies. And then, come around 11 o'clock, they start doing their thing. And by about, 12:30, 1 o'clock, It's just thick gray haze everywhere. And so, how do we know anything, about anything when you really look at it? So much stuff going on right now. There really is so much stuff. And when we look at some of these individual cases, and we have a lot of recordings now. Yeah, I don't think some of this is just a plain flu, and people get. I mean, it's more like what you see when, more like what we've seen happen in Syria, and in other locations when things like mustard gas are being used. I mean, the way people are just boom, dropping like flies. It's not like the flu. It's like there's something else going on here. There's most definitely something else going on here. And I think it feels to me like there's layers to this. Fred says, had a big fireball last night in Las Vegas southwest sky. Fred, I didn't know you were in Vegas. You're so close to us.
Oh.
You're just a couple hours away from us. Cool. Yeah, there's a lot of sightings. We haven't been able to kind of get to that. Today we did things in Reverse, and it's been all getting ourselves healthy and doing a lot of deep meditation, QiGong mantras. We spent a lot of time on that, and then working on our in-house garden right now. We got a lot of seedlings coming up, and getting all prepped with the planting and things along those lines as well. And that's what I think everybody should be doing right now. I mean, we know that there's a train wreck going on in this world, a massive train wreck that we're seeing. But at the same time, you got to prep. And you can grow stuff even in an apartment. And our brother Dave Lewis right here, this man knows what to do. And he grows like 80% of his food in an apartment and in the UK and year round. I mean, he's got pineapples growing in his house. This guy knows what he's doing. He's ready. And we can all do that. We can all do things like this. Where there's a will, there's a way. So this keeps growing. Look at this. This circle is going to be over the entire country before you know it. So they're showing us 24,632 confirmed. 494 deaths, 1,029 recovered, so they say. Look at this graph now. It's like going do, and we know this is not true as well. And you see 24,405 mainland China, 28 Singapore, 25 Thailand, 22 Japan, 21 Hong Kong, 19 South Korea, 13 Australia, 12 Germany, 12 US, 12 Malaysia, 11 Taiwan, 10 Macau, 8 Vietnam, 6 France, 5 Canada, 5 UAE, 3 India, and India I've heard is getting primed to explode, 2 Italy, 2 Russia, 2 Philippines. So, and as we said, we know this is not real. This is just the official numbers. And what's real, that's anybody's guess, really. It really is. Here you see how BNO, South Korea reports 4 more cases, so raising it to 23. So they were, I think they were showing 19 on that one that I was just quoting. So obviously that's growing. And as we see here, California husband and wife infected with coronavirus suddenly much more ill. The couple was taken to a hospital in San Francisco for treatment. And so, 2 people diagnosed with the deadly Wuhan coronavirus became suddenly much more ill on Sunday evening. And they were from San Benito County. Now, he returned after traveling to China. Along with 1 additional case in Santa Clara County, the husband and wife make up the 3 new cases reported in California on Monday. They had been self-isolating in their home since January 24th. Both are 57. Couple is currently hospitalized at University of California, San Francisco Medical Center, where they were placed in isolation. So, I wonder. I wonder what their ethnicity is, because, again, we're wondering if this is a bioweapon, whether it's a bioweapon that was leaked unintentionally or delivered intentionally, and who's the big target as well. China coronavirus outbreak epicenter reports 70 more deaths as the WHO says no effective therapeutics yet. Thank you for all you do, WHO. Where would we be without you?
Right. And I know Michael's so correct when he says this is like watching a train wreck, in super slow motion. And there's a lot at stake here. I'm really, really glad we have the channel so we can kind of sort of actually look back on this and see the history, watch it unfold, and maybe even journal it. This is something this is going down in the history books. This is amazing stuff.
And I am playing phone tag right now with Dr. Paul Cottrell, just so you guys know. I think he is going on, he's going on somebody tonight. I saw it flash up on my notifications, but yeah, he left me a message, and so I was right, because we do have one of the same sources, who's actually a good friend of Cindy and mine, and he also in communication with Dr. Cottrell. And there's stuff going on, guys. This is really weird. What we're seeing here: Wisconsin coronavirus case brings total infected in U.S. to 12. And now, if you look over at, I'm gonna shift this stuff over here. Okay, we'll jump over to, this is the Hal Turner radio show, and this is what I'm talking about. You got to wonder if this is real, and this is a security cam watching this guy here. He just is sitting there and apparently okay, and then all of a sudden it's almost like he got a lethal dose of mustard gas or something. Yeah. Because all of a sudden he's just losing it, starting to slump on the floor, and then he just is shaking. I swear it that's what it looks like when you watch this. He's there, he's just doing his thing on his computer, and then all of a sudden it's almost as if you inhale something and you start to choke, and you're slowly losing consciousness, and boom, right down on the floor. And then the way he spasms, that's not the flu. This is not the flu. And I wonder how many people are going through this. We also saw other people that were shaking in Chinese hospitals. It's to me, again, it reeks of some sort of bioweapon. Here you see also Hal Turner. WHO implies global spread of virus. China descending into chaos, most definitely. We had talked about yesterday, all the evidence was right there to show that perhaps somebody stole this from Winnipeg, as we were talking about that facility, that there were some Chinese nationals at, and they were in an area they weren't supposed to be in. I mean, it almost hits me as almost too perfect a setup. It gets me wondering, if that evidence is just, it's like you're framing the situation. It's like being framed, a little bit too obvious. I mean, too many pieces. There's so many false flags in this world, so many false flags we see when we look back through history.
And, false flags doesn't necessarily mean that it's not real. It just means that, it's done so that they can pull off something else. And with all this information coming out, it's really making it so difficult for me to use my own discernment.
And Epic 76, yeah. I mean, that's what Paul Cottrell was coming to the conclusion of. Is that maybe it is a plan to overthrow the Chinese Communist Party. Think about it. That's why I'm waiting to see, if this ravages the U.S., Europe, as much as it does China in time, then maybe it's not something that was aimed with that purpose. But as there's a lot of evidence saying that it's targeting Asian males 55 and older, especially, which would be the leadership, right? All the leadership. Well, then that does look really suspicious. It certainly does. There's so much, guys, so much going on here. Here you see government unveils new electronic tags for people under Wuhan coronavirus home quarantine. You're going to get electrically tagged. So the other thing coming out of this is Big Brother is growing by leaps and bounds. Big Brother is able to do anything now, anything. Until the people end up overthrowing Big Brother, which may happen sooner than later, or as we watch this whole thing. You want to talk about, there's so many layers to the scariness going on here.
There is. And, again, that's why I'm really glad we have the channel here so we can go back and watch this unfold, all the information coming out. But what makes me sad is now these people are going to have to deal with more EMFs, not that they didn't have enough to start with. Now they're going to put more on them. And it's playing out like a really bad scripted movie. And I'm at the edge of my seat, totally and completely watching this.
And as I was asking David before, and by the way, everybody, I didn't get a message this morning. I could check again, but David Devine was leaving. He had arranged a plane ride that would have been around 11 o'clock this morning. So while I'm thinking of it, I'm just going to shoot him a quick text to ask him to please let us know when you land.
Yeah, totally. Please let us know if you're listening. We want to know, how it went, how things looked, give us a moment by moment detail of what that experience was like. 'Cause I'm so curious of how things are like actually on the ground. And I'd like to hear from people I personally know, because this is just it just reeks, you guys. It just reeks. I don't think that the flu could cause these people to have these seizures. And, and then the other thing is like how they blanket these things with just coronavirus. The coronavirus could be anything. It just feels like there's just something so wrong.
Yeah, on so many different levels. Really, on so many different levels. So, yeah, it's going into chaos. Well, chaos is what we're seeing here. So we got, the massive spraying. Look at these guys. They're getting their daily exercise in, jogging in their suits up and down the streets. Wonder what is in that. I really wonder what is in that. And, I don't know. If I was in that area, I would definitely clear out, and I don't think I'd want to be around it. I don't know exactly what it is, but as you see, Wuhan is still getting disinfected one way or another, and this is, they're taking body bags out left and right, and this is Harry Chen. He covers a ton of this stuff. There's so many videos coming out. And so this shows a building getting quarantined. Chinese authorities are welding the entrance shut with the people inside. And, we're going to see some more videos of people starting to lose it. Some are doing better than others. But, man, it is turning into chaos over there. And, again, this could be over here. So here you see Korean flight from Seoul to Las Vegas was diverted to LAX. It is possible it's due to the coronavirus. When they asked airline officials, they told us ask CDC Gov. So the CDC is the one, I guess, that wanted it to be diverted to LAX. Perhaps LAX is better equipped, I would guess, to handle if they had a case. I'm just putting that out there. And this says another hospital on fire. I wasn't aware that there was more than one. Appears to be an entire floor. Using O2 is dangerous, most definitely. It can go boom. And so there's patients there. This is a hospital in China that's treating people, and it's on fire. Not a good situation. And a patient at a South Florida hospital was tested for the coronavirus. The public remains in the dark. And this is Hollywood. This is Hollywood, Florida. And we don't know the results yet. Now, this is scary. This is Moscow. You know, these guys are all fully suited up just like they are in China. And this is Moscow in a subway. It's just the flu. Sure. That's disconcerting.
It is. And some people say, you know, with the spraying back there, that would scare them more than the virus, right? Yeah, me too. And then someone else says that they're already looking to change the law in UK to prosecute anyone who is post anti-V word, I won't say that word, info on social media. Same article also saying they want to make it mandatory for children to have V in school. So that's what I feel that this is part of the agenda is to really kind of scare the pants off of people and make you want this cure-all of everything. And, you know, that will never me personally, I've weighed enough, I've seen enough, I've thought enough, I've read enough that I would never, ever, ever, plus I have my own visions, I would never go that route. I think that our immune systems are perfect the way they are, and there's plenty of things that we can do to keep ourselves strong and healthy.
And that is the key focus. Most definitely. Strong and healthy. That's why we are prioritizing what we're prioritizing, you know, and yeah, we had a great session today. And actually, I mean, I feel awesome, honestly, right now. I feel really good, which is good because, you know, we've had a lot of sick kids around us. Yeah. We have. The grandkids have been sick. They've had the regular flu. At least we expected the regular flu.
They're all getting better. They're all getting over it. So
they are, you know. So there's 3 adorable little girls that are 5 years old, and then there's a little guy that's 2 months old, maybe about 2 months old now. You know, so yeah, everybody's got to wash their hands. And you know, when we made a run out the other day to the local store, local store, and again, there's not many people that come through here still. You know, we were using hand sanitizer before, during, and after, a nice big lather of it, and all over the handles on the truck and everything. You know, we have to be very, very cautious now. Everyone needs to be super cautious. And to me, this hit me as very ominous. This is Moscow. Moscow's, you know, a long way away from China. And I wonder just what's going on there as well. So here we see a man with flu-like symptoms being tested for coronavirus. This is in Beaumont, Texas. And, you know, I haven't heard an update. I don't know if you guys have on the other people in Texas. Now, the other thing that is super disconcerting is, oh my God, just how people are acting. They're going to be desperate. We know this. People are going to be desperate. That's just the bottom line. And you're seeing people, I mean, it's civilization is collapsing. You know, people are acting obviously like starving animals because they are starving now. The food situation's horrible. And so, you know, we see this chaos, people just grabbing what they can. Now, this is another gentleman who goes up into a store and, you know, it's mostly empty. Interestingly enough, it looked like there was just some beef that was left there. Maybe it was pork. Maybe they were afraid of swine flu. You know, there's other outbreaks going on as well. There's, like as we were talking about, there's bird flu. There's tons of birds being culled. There's bird flu, a different strain also in the Middle East going on now. You know, those nasty Anunnaki unleashing these things on us. And I don't really say that in jest. You know, it's interesting, too, because if you look at the Bible, too, there's a lot of cases in the Bible, times when, you know, the quote-unquote angel of the Lord spread massive amounts of death and like 50,000 people dying overnight from some sort of plague. interesting stuff, and we've talked about that. So yeah, I got all these links for you guys, and this is showing people fighting in the supermarkets for food as, civilization is collapsing. There's a lot of really disconcerting videos going on, really disconcerting. And you probably have seen this one, and you got to wonder again, if they have the flu, when you have the flu, you can't get up and go walking. I mean, you get exhausted, you get out of breath. You can't. So you wouldn't be out there. Somebody else in your family would be out there for you, a friend probably. So how are these people just dropping dead on the sidewalk in mass? And this is not the flu. I just don't buy it. There's something really wrong here. And so when you listen to this one, if you guys want to listen to this one, I'm not going to play it right here. Now, this is the one, a lot of you have seen this in different pieces. This is spliced together. We've seen these guys who are the powers that be. They're coming out of a cop car, basically. They're all suited up, and they're roaming around with guns. And then as you're playing this, right, you see all these people, and there's a lot of people that are just, either dead or looks like they're dying or they passed out. And then you're hearing gunshots, firing, and sporadically. And there's one segment there where it's like somebody just switched from semi-auto to full auto. And then you hear people screaming. And so there's rumors out there right now that the forces, the powers that be, the police and the military, are killing people that are sick in mass. And that's one of the rumors that's going around. Now, looking at that video and then seeing that we found another one that was posted earlier, which does show, again, the same people, same sort of situation, but you don't hear the gunfire. So, you do hear people crying and wailing, but you don't hear the gunfire. So somebody spliced that gunfire into this shot. So they're trying to give the impression that, the cops are out there and perhaps the military executing people that are sick en masse. Now, we don't know if that's happening or not. We don't know. There's always rumors. But it's just, it's seriously depressing to think about this.
Yeah, so I think, a lot of things we agree on is that these poor folks who are just walking down the street, and if they're dropping, and the other gentleman we saw at his computer just sort of drop, that is not the flu. No, it's not. So it's like, but then when they advertise it over here, they use this coronavirus blanket statement. And Fred, thank you for the information on that. And yeah, we probably won't monetize this either, because Fred said that if we even mention that word, don't bother monetizing it. But that's another thing, that kind of leads me into this information of, this confusing information. I don't know if they're spreading this information, and if we say something wrong on it, are they going to use that as an excuse to lock down other information channels like ours? That's concerning also.
They just updated like everything with their rules and regulations as to what's I guess okay with ads. And really, you can't cover anything war related. You can't cover anything war related. It's going to get demonetized. You can't cover anything like this. There's so much that you can't cover that, about the only thing you could maybe cover is, cooking shows, RV stuff would be okay. Growing things are okay. There's so little you could cover. And I don't, obviously, it's not that advertisers are going to have an issue with it because, look at the news. Do they have ads on CNBC, Fox, and CNN and MSNBC? Of course they do. Advertisers don't care. They're just, shutting you up. This is the way they shut you up. But when you look at it, and I was gonna do a video just showing you guys exactly what the rules are. You can't cover almost anything, honestly. Yeah, I saw that one, Susan. I didn't want to show it. It was pretty horrible. To me, it looks more like what I've seen with people being exposed to, like a mustard gas, something like that. And actually, I might do a little more research on that and then I think about it. And then here you got a guy who posted videos talking about what's going on, and they're taking him away in chains. So this is what's happening over there. This guy is, who knows where he's going to go? Who knows? There's definitely rumors now that, people are being executed if they are ill, very ill. And then you got to wonder about these situations. It's pretty horrible what we're seeing out there. Society breaking down, martial law, basically, even worse. And here is a woman, as it says here, the whole world is wary and shocked by what's happening in China. And this is a woman that was on the street without a mask. And so they stopped right away and they grabbed her and she's kicking and screaming and they take her away. And, is she going to be in isolation or will anybody ever see her again? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, guys. And this is somebody being yanked out of their apartment, and they were masked, and they're yanked out and brought down and taken away. And I hope it doesn't come to this in this country. And then here we have a guy that another case of a guy thought to be from Wuhan. He's getting attacked by a mob of people. They just, he's from Wuhan, get him. It's crazy. And they just tackle him, bring him to the ground, and they got all sorts of stuff to beat him with. It's just like completely, you can't even call it animalistic because animals don't behave that way.
No, really. Animals are, they're fair. Or just anyway. And thank you, Miss Susan Donahue. We so appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
As Mother Nature, she might not be fair, but she is just. And these things that are happening to these people, it's not just in any way. I'd much rather be dealt with by Mother Nature when this happens. It's just so wrong. And, when it comes to YouTube's rules and stuff, they also leave it up for human discernment, so if someone is looking at your video and they decide, well, you leaned too far this way, they can also dock us for that too. So YouTube's very careful with their wording to make sure that we can hardly get anything out there.
Yeah, I expect it'll just get worse. But if everybody does, make sure they are still subscribed and have the bell clicked as well, just in case. And here you see Wuhan coronavirus crematoriums are working 24/7, burning 100 bodies a day each, insider claims as well, even though the authorities insisted the death toll remains at just under 500. That's not even close to accurate, not even close. And too many photos have leaked out about all this stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of videos leaked out. It's really crazy. It's like, and which ones, like, what exactly are they trying to do here? I don't know. It goes back to discernment and all of us, getting healthy and going within and really, really doing what we need to do to get ourselves healthy and ourselves prepared. Because, if you just want to, like, walk the line of caution, you're going to want to be ready and you're going to want to be prepared and you're going to want to be healthy. And for that, I'm super grateful for. We have time to do that now.
Yeah, it's definitely of prime importance is, being healthy and getting ourselves in as good a shape as possible. And honestly, getting away from this, I know we're all watching what's going on. And we've seen the smoke that they show, that it may be from this. So just showing some other sources. Okay, so this is Benjamin Fulford, which some of you guys may know. I always take everything from him and from so many other sources with a little grain of salt. He has had things that he's reported on and turned out to be very, very accurate on. And then there's been some things that, don't seem to have manifested as said. So, but again, it's up to each to make their own discernment. And when you see here, huge anti-China campaign mounted after secret talks fail. So I'm going to just quote what he's saying. And again, this is his opinion. It's not mine and Cindy's. We'll be aware of it. It's good to look at all this, though. And I do believe, as he talks about the Illuminati, and I know they're real. I have no doubts about that. And I do think that there is infighting. There's always been infighting. If we go back to the Sumerian gods, there was always infighting amongst the different gods, especially between the Enlilites and the Enkyites. It was always like that. So why would it be any different nowadays? And so he says, a massive hybrid warfare attack has begun on China following the failure of negotiations between Eastern and Western secret societies. Sources close to negotiations say, the attack on China is using a combination of bioweapons, propaganda, and economic warfare, according to multiple sources. This campaign is being conducted in tandem with an effort to create mass starvation in India and Africa. This is the response of the U.S. corporate government after it failed to find financing for January 31st international payments deadline, according to the European royal family sources. The attack on China shows many signs of advanced planning. First of all, the new coronavirus hit in China is definitely a bioweapon. Researchers in India have identified HIV insertions, and that's one of those things that gets you demonetized right there, in the coronavirus that could only be put there intentionally. CIA-linked doctors say the insertions were made so a fruit bat virus would be contagious to humans. Meanwhile, Chinese doctors have discovered the coronavirus is designed to attach to lung receptors that are 5 times more common in Asian males than in African or Indo-European males. Asian females also have less than half the amount of these receptors than the Asian males. And so this is a link, again, this is BioRx that we've been looking at. And right here, this is the actual one he's citing. So that links there too. Okay, contagious to human. They already knew this was coming. It's the Nipah virus. And guess what? Whites are essentially immune because we have the acetylcholine space inhibitor against the virus. They know it's Nipah. The bleep's going to hit the fan once people know the mortality rate. The CIA doctor bragged. Below are some links sent by the CIA doctor, which is showing like a massive fatality rate. If you're looking at 40 to 70% death rate, that's like Ebola. It's really huge. So that would be obviously a horrible scenario. So in case you have any doubts this attack was planned well in advance, please take note of the CNN article trying to pin the blame on China, specifically the Wuhan Institute of Virology. We've talked about that. It almost looks too neat and tidy. And then look at this. The Wuhan biotech company logo is the same as the Umbrella Corp from Resident Evil. You gotta be kidding me. Look at that. It's just a different color, but it's the same thing. According to a Mossad source, one thing is for certain, and the virus has been modified and may have all types of pathogens mixed in it. It was released, as we say, accidentally on purpose. This is the last stand for the cabal. The world is waking up to their lies, manipulation, never-ending wars, and Babylonian money magic, as we have the Zionist cabal spokesman shouting off again, and it's talking about Pompeo there. Talking about China that is the central threat of our times. Asian secret society sources have already promised their response will be unpredictable and worse than you can imagine. And that's what Cindy was saying. She was saying, if all this is true, and it does, it feels like there's a lot of truth behind some of this. then what's the response going to look like?
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier today, so, and then that's the reason, like, so even if we can say all this is somewhat made up and so on and so forth, but if it is a bioweapon, then yeah, it is going to come back on us. And there's another need or reason that we need to prepare and go within and work with each other and get the information out. So like there's all these reasons on both sides of the fence, to say something, to not say something, but I kind of always err on the side of caution, because more times than not in my life things have turned out bad. So with this one, I'm just going to be cautious all the way around, and it's just not worth it, you guys. It's not worth it to just throw care to the wind and say, shrug your shoulder. Take a little caution here, because what's coming after this is highly unknown.
Right. And so what did we watch last night? No. I had Cindy watch Red Dawn last night. Yeah. And of course, I thought everybody in the world had seen the original Red Dawn with Patrick Swayze and Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez. I think they were all in it. And then we watched the new one, with Thor in it. Yeah. And so, it's just because, everything is telegraphed. Everything is always telegraphed. And I was thinking about doing another video on all the prophecies about war that is coming, which if anybody ever needed an excuse to start, WW3, if this is all true, then wow, the excuse is there. And so he says the Chinese are almost certain to target the regime of Shinzo Abe in Japan, since it's been identified as a subcontractor for this attack on China. According to Japanese military intelligence sources, although the pictures of Abe smiling with Nazi symbols in the background have been scrubbed for the internet, it's well known that he's a Nazi. As soon as he was put in power through elections stolen by the Khazarian mafia, and I know that a lot of you guys are familiar with the Khazarian mafia, but maybe not, so it'd be something to look into. He began building a biowarfare weapon factory disguised as Kake Gakuin Veterinary College, Japanese sources say. This was staffed by disciples of the infamous Japanese fascist fascist unit 731 Biowarfare Division, they note. They also set up shop in Wuhan, according to the Japanese underground sources. And, of course, this gets into what the Nazi plans were to kill off all the non-Aryan races. And a little note here is they considered Japanese to be honorable Aryans as well. And this is why the attack on China is being carried out along with a plan to create mass starvation in Africa and India. And the whole thing is being run out of bases in Antarctica, according to Benjamin Fulford. So I just wanted to share that. A couple of you guys had mentioned him. And so, I just wanted to bring that up for you guys. And I had missed this. The WHO announces the death of Peter Salama, former Ebola response leader. And this was the 25th of January. So there's another one. This gentleman was only 51. And he died suddenly on Thursday. Just like I said yesterday with that other death, things that make you go, really interesting. Now this is horrible. A woman wearing a face mask attacked in a possible coronavirus hate crime. And this is in New York, and this was absolutely brutal to watch. Just boom, what are we going to see here? Are we going to be looking at the same situation as China? Will it be as bad? Will it be worse? As, just again, people attacking each other because somebody's wearing a mask. Crazy.
It is. And, another thing about these guys that happen to end up dead is they are the ones that seem to know what to do under these circumstances with Ebola, and they're kind of in the midst of it, and they know things. So, and then suddenly they die with this outbreak. I mean, it's all like like Michael said, it's like a really huge slow motion train crash.
Most definitely. And, it's sad to see people acting this way. It's just horrible. So there was a Chinese baby that tests positive for the coronavirus 30 hours after birth. Yeah, it just feels like we're either watching Resident Evil or we're watching Underworld or one of these sci-fi movies. It's like a bad movie. So you guys probably saw this. Tencent may have accidentally leaked the real data on the Wuhan virus deaths. Some people think this is complete BS. Some people think that maybe this was a slip up. As you look at the first number over here, that's confirmed cases, supposedly. This is people that are currently sick, is suspected cases, which would give you 234,000-ish, about that. This one is people that have recovered, only 269. And this one's supposed to be the amount of deaths, 24,589. So you guys might have seen this, because this then was scrubbed and put back in line with the official number. So was that a fupa? Did somebody try to leak something out? I'm sure there's people that try to leak things out all the time that believe, hey, we got to let people know.
Yeah, I mean, that's understandable. I would want people to know this too. I would probably do the same thing, as long as somebody didn't have my head.
Bill says he thinks a psyop's going on. Yeah, there is, most definitely. The question is, how many people are really dying? How many, different things are we looking at? Because I don't think, while I don't doubt that there is this new coronavirus out there, 2019, whatever, COV, whatever. I think there's more, though, to it than that. The ways some people are dropping, and then, Jerry says this is just the first wave. Yeah. We've watched and read and know, you'll have other waves. Some think that they could be more severe. It could also be less severe. And, this is unfortunately something we're going to be going through probably for a while, guys. This is the world we live in right now. And, we might have another wave in the summer, and we might have another wave in the fall. And, I heard people talking that they were very worried about the one going into the fall, what might be the third wave. As Bill says, it could be Photoshopped. We don't know what's real and what's Photoshopped at all. But most definitely, there's something major going on here. And it does feel like there's layers to this. And I think there's definitely more than one thing out there killing people. And so what's the real number? Is it 25,000 right now? Perhaps. It may be a lot higher. Because I've had other people tell me that it's way higher than that. You could actually take that number, times it by 10, and then you're getting close. So... unfortunately, we don't know. And right here, you think somebody is lying to, first check to see if they bothered to add in any variability whatsoever in the model that they are using to supposedly report the actual numbers from a complex system. And basically what he's saying is, they're not giving us a straight answer. There would be more variability. It wouldn't be so perfectly organized. This looks orchestrated, is what he's saying. So in other words, he's just coming to the conclusion, don't believe the numbers, which I think most of us don't.
No. Yeah, that's another thing we can agree on. We don't agree on the numbers. I mean, they just seem wrong on so many levels.
And so, here you see shocking 2/3 of a medical staff infected. 2/3 of the medical staff in Wuhan is infected. 40 medics infected in a hospital, considered a low figure. In one ICU, 2/3 were infected. It's most definitely what we're seeing is definitely scary.
Yeah, Ricky just says, I don't know if you can look this up in a moment, but Canada's person that was in charge of virology just died in Canada.
Well, isn't that what we just talked about? Yeah.
Is that or is that another
That
one?
was yesterday's
Oh,
video.
okay,
I'm
okay.
thinking
That's yesterday's. Okay.
we were talking about. I think
The
we're
other
talking about
two.
the guy from yesterday's video.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we didn't know if that's another one, but yeah, it's really strange how these people just sort of drop like or get dropped like hot rocks, you know. I don't know. There's a lot of things to be concerned about. So when I say I question the videos, you know, that doesn't mean I question the situation. The situation's pretty serious. I just question the information that we're being fed, and like how much of it do we give the benefit of the doubt? How much of it do we take seriously? Because it's so chaotic. It's just horrible.
I believe that she's talking about Frank Plummer, and that's the one that we did this video on last night. So he died suddenly, and again, that's that lab in Winnipeg that he did run it at one point. Well, he was like the director. So I'll give myself a thumbs up, guys. Yeah, I mean, it's just there's too much going on, and here these guys are having fun, and that's good because there was one that we were watching right before this where people are going insane. They're going insane because they're locked into these buildings. So at least these kids are having a good time, or trying to. You got to put a happy face on.
Yeah.
And this is Harry Chen, because like if you watch this one, as he says here, driving crazy, isolating some people for a long time can cause anxiety and irritability. Today I just watched a video of a 20-year-old jumping from a building because he couldn't take it anymore. He just couldn't take it anymore, so he jumped. And here in this one, if you listen to it, it's somebody that's really losing it. And it's really sad to listen to.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that is really super disturbing about this, you know, but we have to go back to what can we do about it? You know, when you focus on the problem gets bigger. You focus on the solution gets bigger. So yeah, getting healthy, going within, you know, doing what you need to do. And sugar is like super bad. So if you're doing herbal remedies and you're still eating sugar and processed foods, it's really going to hinder those herbs and make it difficult for them to work. Just an FYI, something I learned when I was doing herbology.
And I agree with what Mark Jones had just said. And, it could be some sort of trigger, perhaps. And, of course, Wuhan, was the epicenter of that wave of the technology getting put in. Yeah. So that's another thing that doesn't really feel like it's just a coincidence, by any means. So it's, all this stuff. And then this was the one we were talking about in the Moscow flu. And then look at them. This is cash. And they're spraying the heck out of it before touching cash, because, boy, that would be a way for things to spread. And you can see some of the pictures over here. Now things are really in short supply over there. Really in short supply. So, again, think about what you need, and I would recommend stocking up, and then think about long term. I mean, that's what we've done. So I didn't even look at how much money I spent, and my stomach is turning because I know at some point I gotta look. But I just felt like, this is not something to screw around with. So, brought in all sorts of dry goods, bulk wheat, flour, rice, not from China, beans, again, lentils. We have quite a bit right now. And, like one of the things that we're so used to is we haven't eaten yet today. And we've worked out really hard and done a lot of different things today. But I do have a black bean chili that is making the house smell really good. Yeah. So, that will be our meal tonight, because, A lot of times we only eat once, and a lot of you guys are on that same program now. I think people are waking up to this as well, how powerful intermittent fasting can be for you.
And it's accumulative. So, even if you're just starting out, don't be discouraged, because every day that you do it, it accumulates, and that's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
And, there's more than one cruise ship that's on lockdown. Here you see trapped on virus-ravaged cruise ship, shocked passengers struggle to keep spirits up. This is a global event we're seeing happening, and a lot of people are caught in spots that are not home. And so they have to just do what they can to stay sane and stay safe and stay healthy. And this is the other side of the whole story. Record surge in global virus cases sparks panic bid for stocks to all-time highs. So what better catalyst is there for buying U.S. equities with both hands and feet than the Director General of the WHO, who has been downplaying the pandemic for days, admitting in the last 24 hours that the last 24 hours saw the biggest surge in coronavirus cases worldwide since the crisis began. And as far as rumors of a vaccine, how long will it take? This is Monty Python. I think this has got to be, the infamous "Bring Out Your Dead," video. China did not supply liquidity last night. Momentum was still with small cap tech stocks. European markets all bounced higher once again today. So if it's going to stay horribly virulent in China, but not being the case in the U.S. or Europe, then obviously it's going to benefit the U.S. and Europe financially in many ways. And obviously it's going to slow the steamrolling effect that China has had economically. They have been, obviously we've had this huge trade war going on. Let's not forget that. This was a massive trade war going on.
Yeah, and Trump had just signed something or other with the trade deal with China, and then boom, like a day later, we get information of this outbreak over there. That was really kind of strange.
Yeah, very strange. And so, we recognize that, and you got to always ask yourself, who's the winners, who's the losers? And we saw... that was I forget the name of the company now, but it was the 5G internet company, Huawei is going to shift a lot of their manufacturing over to Europe, and that's a huge company, and others, will probably be doing the same. So who is really suffering? Well, obviously China. Who's benefiting too? So we have to ask those questions. And again, we'll see what this looks like in a month or two, and especially like once we get to, say, the summer, and you can really look back and see, where did it cause the most devastation? Perhaps then we could see whether or not this truly was some sort of attack.
Yeah, one of my favorite sayings, and I think it's true, is like all roads lead to Rome, and did Rome ever really fall? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Rome hasn't fallen. That's the thing. It's just morphed into different forms. And currently, who's flying the eagle? The Roman Empire is the eagle. It's still flying, and it's flying over this country right now. So very interesting stuff, guys. We're going to end this one here. There's a lot more stuff to talk about. I'm going to do a video totally talking about which will get demonetized because you're not allowed to talk about war either. But there's interesting developments going on geopolitically in the world. Really interesting. We're watching a massive chess game, of which I think this might just be one aspect of the game that's underway. There's something huge going on right now. This is massive, and this is one aspect of it. So we'll put out some other puzzle pieces for you all to look at and consider as well.
Yeah, we will, and we'll do what we can, and we'll get together as much as we can and throw ideas back and forth.
So, my friends, be prepared. Prepare. Go to an all new level of preparation, because something tells me that this roller coaster ride is going to be a long one.
Yeah, indeed. God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste.